The year is 2012. The Oklahoma City Thunder are hosting a playoff game against Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers with a chance to clinch the series. It's a tense back and forth, tied at 70 in the third quarter. Russell Westbrook anticipates an errant pass from Lakers guard Ramon Sessions, intercepts it, explodes down the court in classic Brody fashion. Sessions fouls him from behind near the free throw line to prevent what would have been a thunderous momentum-shifting dunk, but Westbrook, always one step ahead, adjusts and releases a 16-foot finger roll and one. This is the anatomy of a superstar, and this is Russell Westbrook. Adam, we had to bring on the biggest Westbrook fan we know probably, which happens to be my brother. And spoiler alert, for those who are just a peek behind the curtain, we're recording this on the day that Westbrook has announced he is retiring. And so, Adam, we kind of timed this perfectly, also badly on Mitchell's part, but perfectly, to have on my brother, Evan Soell. And so, Evan, I asked this question to you. When you think of Russell Westbrook, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
First thing that comes to mind is definitely just like being a kid and watching him like as I was growing up. Like that was probably the main reason why I fell in love, like watching NBA, was like seeing the way that he approached the game on a day-to-day basis, like made it entertaining to watch as a fan and made you want to care. And then, yeah, just like with how intense he was, just like his engagement with the fans, how like great of a teammate he was. He was really easy to root for. And yeah, obviously had some really special moments like you just read about in that Lakers game. And yeah, it was just a Thunder legend and the reason why I'm a Thunder fan and a huge NBA fan. So it's a sad day, but it's a happy day too.
Yeah. And Adam, I mean, your Spurs have had a fair amount of just running with Russ throughout his entire career. I mean, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of just the explosiveness of Russell Westbrook or just the player himself?
Yeah, I mean, explosiveness is a great word for it. Intensity. Yeah, explosiveness I think is the best word, honestly, because I think in person, I get to see him play in person a bunch early in his career, in the middle of his career. Actually, not as many times later in his career, obviously, as he hopped around a little bit. But when he was on the Thunder, I saw him play a ton, his rookie year, all the way through kind of all of his years with the Thunder. He is breathtaking to watch in person. I mean, just the end-to-end speed, the size, the strength, his pull-up where he just stops on an absolute dime is just like pretty wild. He's one of those players where you're like, Derrick Rose had this too, where it's like, how exactly does anyone stay in front of this guy? Like, it just doesn't make sense because he had just this combination of the kind of size, speed, strength was just so impressive. I mean, I've seen multiple end-to-end dunks, where it's like, he rips the rebound down and just zooms through, barely touched and gets to the rim. Obviously, look, there's some decision-making stuff, which we'll get into. That's like, maybe a reason he's not like, even higher in this, but just in terms of as a raw, like athlete to watch, he's right up there for me in terms of the best I've ever seen.
The words I would use are smooth aggressiveness. It's like there is a clear plan in his head sometimes, most of the time, of, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make it look cool, but also just like it's going to be almost effortless in his mind to do it. And I think that's one of the greatest things about him is that there is this go mentality of like the engine is always on with him. And I think that was always what you could count on with Russ outside of Patrick Beverley diving into his ankles. Like you could always count on him to be on the floor and always count on him to give 100% of his body and to the game. You even see that with his later years. I mean, outside of OKC, when he's with Washington, I mean, even with Houston, I mean, with every stop he made, it was, I'm going to give myself to the game and like give it all. And so, Evan, I think that's a part of it too, because you never stopped being a fan of him even after he left Oklahoma City.
Not at all. No, I mean, yeah, like you said, Mitch, he never cheated the game. You never had to question, his intentions out there. Yeah, just I think a real old school like hearted basketball player from that sense. Um, and yeah, he's been my all time favorite player. Yeah, regardless of what team he's been on, I always rooted for him. I have a Houston Rockets Westbrook jersey, which hasn't aged well, but that's how much I love the guy. Like I hate the Rockets, but I got a Westbrook jersey, and um, yeah, that just goes to show how much, how highly I regard him. I still favor the Thunder over a player, but like even like last year watching League Pass, like if the Kings were playing, I was gonna watch them. It was late night, go watch Russell Westbrook, throw some dimes, yell at some fans, yell at some players, and put up some crazy shots. Some of them will go in, some of them won't, but he'll let you know if he makes them. That's for sure.
Yeah. And Adam, I mean, like thinking about it, I mean, in a historical sense, he's the first player since Oscar to average a triple double in a season. And not only that, he did it 4 times, which is crazy to me. He did it the 3 times in OKC and then the 1 year in Washington, which again, I think that Washington year is so underrated statistically, just everything he did that season, especially post bubble, like just everything that went on. I think that season just gets tossed by the wayside, especially just with how bad that Washington franchise is. But man, that duo of him and Beal, I mean, was just crazy.
I think that's his last like great season. I mean, he was awesome that year. And they kind of had no business kind of getting back in the playoff picture, but he was great down the stretch and kind of dragged them to the playoffs. I mean, he's one of the game's elite floor raisers, like he's played on some teams that, especially post KD, that were not great, but he kind of got them at least to like a playoff level team, Now, obviously, once we get to those highest levels and you kind of need to do a bit more than that, that's maybe where, we saw some flaws, but, genuinely, like you could just surround him with 4 random dudes in his prime, and it's like, well, they're at least going to be competitive. Like it's at a minimum, like he's going to give them a chance to win each game. And that's really that matters to me. That's like super valuable. And there's a reason he's in our top 50 because I think there's some people who maybe wouldn't quite have him in this class. Certainly top 75. I think that was like obviously well deserved, but he's a guy we did debate, but ultimately was like, no, this is a pretty clear case. Like this is pretty clearly in the top 50 for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's the hate that comes from that MVP season in 2016-17, and there's the people who think Harden should have had it over him, and that's why I think they don't count that MVP, and that's why they don't have him in their top 50. I think that's ridiculous. I think what he does so good what he does well in his early parts of his career while still learning like how to control his like aggressiveness and how to control his athleticism. It's beautiful to still watch. Like we watched the 2012 finals game, and just watching that version of him was incredible. Like it jumps out of the building, like how like incredibly athletic he is in that entire game. And so I can't wait to get into that too. But that MVP season, I know Evan and I texted throughout that, and I'm sure you guys were talking through that like basketball season, just like when you guys were when Evan was playing for you, but how just impressive it all was whenever he was literally pulling a team that had very little scoring outside of him. I mean, it was Jeremy Grant and Victor Oladipo, and who else, Evan, was on that 17 team that you're like, I can count on him to get a bucket?
Oh, to get a bucket, yeah. I mean, nobody. The starting lineup was like Roberson, Steven Adams, Taj Gibson after we got him. I mean, yeah, like the roster was rough in that year. It was really bad. Like Kyle Singler.
It was a 6 seed. It was a 6 seed with Kyle Singler playing 8th-man minutes. It's that kind of stuff.
The bonus. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you talked about it, Adam. That is one of those years you're like, that is the best ceiling raise I've ever seen a player just be able to pull off in my lifetime at the very least. Like
floor raise, yeah.
Sorry, floor raise. Thank you.
Yeah.
Floor raise of, oh my gosh, you pulled this team to a 6 seed in a pretty brutal West. Now, I mean, a pretty great Western Conference.
I mean, the best team of all time is playing in that conference at the time, and a 60-win Spurs team. That was awesome,
In a crazy good Rockets team, so it's just this great trio up top, and you still pulled them into the 6 seed. It was very, very crazy to watch. As a freshman in college, I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, anyways, I just think about that series so much, and I know they don't make it out of the first round, but still, like, that team, that run was special, and so can't wait to get into that.
To piggyback on that, I mean, obviously that is when I met Evan, was during that season, and I do have like really kind of like fond memories of us all debating stuff. Like we kind of sit in that office and talk about stuff, and it was like, is it Russ? Is it Harden? We had all these different guys who were like different fans, because it was so interesting when I moved there. It's like I'm moving to a city that's a non-NBA city.
Yeah.
And you guys all kind of just had different teams. It's like I'm coming from San Antonio, where it's like, well, obviously the Spurs are really good. Everyone's just a Spurs fan, and they play here. But that was a really like unique thing where it's like you guys, everybody's kind of in their own camp. Like I'm a LeBron guy, I'm a Harden guy, I'm a this guy, and so like you had, I mean, what a cool year for you to be like the Russ guy, because it was like, you had plenty of ammo for your arguments. So yeah, I mean, look, whether he should have been first, second, third, I don't really care. I mean, he was amazing that year, so it's like that's like, whether he won it or not wouldn't have really changed the kind of legacy a whole lot to me. But he was, I mean, night to night, like putting on League Pass, he was spectacular that night. It's like, I'm going to see something crazy every time he's playing, and then the game that we're going to do, that 2017 game is just like case in point. It's like they had no business winning that game, but he just, force of will pulls it out.
Former co-host of the Hooper's Almanac, Aaron Carter, and I were watching that game live, and
I was watching that too. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, one of the most angry moments I've ever seen Aaron Carter. He doesn't get mad that often, but when he does, it's kind of funny, and I chuckle. And that was one of those moments. So can't wait to go through that game with you guys. But Adam, for all these guys, we have 5 games that define their career. And Evan, I think I don't think I've sent you the full list of 5. I think I just shared the 2. So Adam, why don't you go through the list of 5 games that we have for Westbrook that we believe define his career?
Yeah. So the first one is the 2012 Finals, Game 4, which is the first game we're going to do in full here. So we'll talk about that one more in a second. Thunder at Heat. 2016 Western Conference Finals, Game 4, Golden State Warriors at Oklahoma City Thunder. This is the game where the Thunder go up 3-1 in the series. Russ was absolutely outstanding in this game. They blow out the Warriors, and it's like, wow, this team's going to make the finals. This is crazy. They're going to beat the 73-9 Warriors. Obviously, history had something else to say there. But 2016-17 regular season, this is the game. Second game we're going to do. So this is a Nuggets at Thunder game, regular season game towards the end of the year there. 2019 Western Conference first round, Game 4. Sorry, Evan, this is the one negative one we have. Blazers at Thunder. Big chance missed to tie the series. Russ struggles, going 5 for 21 in a Game 4 against the Blazers in the series that would go on to lose to the Dame Wave game. We didn't want to choose that one because it's kind of actually the Game 4 is like more important to kind of talk about him, because that's him and Paul George really at like kind of the peak of their career. And they just couldn't quite figure out, how to kind of like make those pieces fit, and they lose to that Blazers team. And then 2021 regular season. So this is that one Washington Wizards year. Pacers at Wizards. This to me exemplifies Russ perfectly. It is a March game. No one's there because it's like they're only allowing, a few hundred people in the arena. It's COVID time. They get down big. But Russ just digs this one out. Bradley Beal's out for the Wizards. Every excuse for this team for this to be a loss. But Russ goes for 35, 21, and 14. They win the game, end up making the playoffs later that year. Just an absurd performance. And like I said, probably his last great regular season. So yeah, I thought we had to have at least one Wiz game on there. I thought that was the best one.
It's crazy. And I think that's the best one to probably put on there for that Wizards year. So if we're just doing regular season. So
the only other one, which wasn't as statistically as impressive, but the game where he broke the all-time triple-double record where he beat Oscar. But because I remember watching that too, that was like appointment television. Like felt like sitting down to watch, like when anticipating LeBron, getting the points record. It was kind of like that. So but yeah, you're right. That game, I do have memories of that Pacers game too.
I think any moment when there's a chance that a guy from the 70s NBA or like the 80s NBA can be courtside and like shake the hand of a current day player, I think that's always going to be appointment television.
Really
like,
cool. Yeah.
Even when Curry passed Reggie Miller for 3-pointers made, we all were watching that one too. And I still think that's one of my favorite moments, is like any time where a legend of the game can literally pass the torch to a guy of the current day is something I always find special. So,
well, in that one, Ray Allen and Reggie were there, because Ray Allen actually passed Reggie. So like all three of them get to be there for like the kind of like a 3-way like passing the torch. They have that picture together. That is a really cool one. So yeah, no, that is awesome. Like when we can have history, and I think Oscar Robertson, him and Russ became like friendly, because I think Russ really kind of I think Oscar Robertson really responded to how Russ played the game and honored him and talked about the triple doubles. And I also think it benefited Oscar Robertson to be kind of back in the news a bit. But that was a really cool relationship to watch kind of grow as Russ kind of continued to play and honor his legacy. I thought that was really cool. And so for them to be there together for that was awesome.
Yeah, completely agree. Well, let's take a trip back, not too far from our current day, but into 2012 to the NBA Finals. And Evan, I'm trying to remember. I mean, we had to watch these finals together when we were kids, but I'm not remembering like any of them outside of Game 3 and Game 1. Like, I don't know why Game 3 and Game 1. I do not remember watching this one together when we were kids. Do you remember watching this?
I don't have vivid memories watching them, but I do recall, especially watching this game, just because it felt like Russell Westbrook was like literally untouchable. Like,
Yeah.
when you go back and watch the game, I haven't watched that game maybe since I first watched it, but like, there's literally, like Adam said earlier in this episode, like there was just no answer for him that night. Like he was getting around D Wade, one of the league's best, perimeter defenders at that time, and like getting to the rim at will and then making that pull up jump shot, which some nights it was on, some nights it was off, but when it was on, it looked so smooth, and it was just one of those nights where he had to kind of take over. I mean, James Harden really struggled that game, and that was a player that they really relied on in that playoff scoring wise, and Kevin Durant struggled a lot. I mean, Russ took 32 shots. I mean, 32 shots was crazy. Only 3 free throws too, which is nuts for like how much he was attacking the rim in that game. Basically played the full game and unfortunately came up short. But yeah, that's like just a iconic performance.
Yeah, I agree. And Adam, I'll just do the stat line now and just say that before we even get to sequence, he had 43 points on 20 of 32 shooting, 0 of 3 from 3, and like Kevin said, 3 of 3 from free throw line, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. But you felt in a game score of 31.4. But like Evan said, it could have been 50 points. Honestly, it felt like he just had so much, especially if they would have called a little more fouls as he was attacking the rim. I feel like this could have been a 50-point game and even a Thunder win if he's a little more foul calls on here. But I mean, this is just an insane stat line for a loss in the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the better final performances of our kind of, last, 10, 15 years here of watching the games. I think, you can see it in the Heat's eyes too. Like he's making some of these plays, but they kind of look at each other like, I mean, what, like nothing really we can do about that one. It's just like where he's just racing down the floor and just kind of like elbow pull-ups. It's like, I mean, if he's making those, like there's just not a lot you can do. And I thought this was like the peak version of that style, and he also did a good job in this game of sensing like, okay, like I'm like, they're kind of taking KD away. Like I'm going to need to probably shoot a couple tough ones. Like sometimes I think he liked that almost like I just, but this was actually like out of necessity. It's like, I'm going to need to kind of drag us a little bit here because, they're doing everything they can to kind of take KD away. Cause KD had some huge games earlier in the series. And then this is obviously kind of like the swing game in a series, Miami's up 2-1 and, it's up like this series was like way closer than people remember. It's a 5-game series, but like this game is like right in the balance. And obviously if it goes the Thunder's way, well, then you're going to get that game 6, in 7 back at home. You never know what could happen. So, you probably think Miami would probably still go on to win that game 5, but yeah, who knows, with home court in game 6 and 7, and Miami kind of closes the door and LeBron's cramping up. Like, I mean, there's a moment there where it's like, it's there for the taking and they just can't quite do it. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of dig into this one a little bit further, but, actually Mitch, we forgot to give where we have him in our rankings. You want to give that real quick before I give the, how we got here?
Thank you for reminding me, my friend. So we have all these guys tiered out into different rankings. We have him in our Ruby tier, which is the 41 to 50 range. And so he's in the back half of our 50, but still in our top 50. He's with, trying to think, who of this crew have we done? We've done Patrick Ewing. That's it, but he's amongst the likes of guys like Gary Payton, who we're going to do this summer. And then also, where another guy would be Reggie Miller. These are just a few guys that are in this tier with Russ. Some of the biggest playoff, like, oh my gosh moments, like they have so many of these great moments, but also some of these downside moments, once you think, Adam, like just like some great highs, but man, their lows, they kind of dig deep there.
Yeah, they do. And maybe like Reggie too, because Reggie also played 18 seasons. Russ is obviously done now, so he plays 18 seasons. And those last few are not obviously at the same level as, when he was in his prime. There's very few guys that actually continue that all the way through. So so we talk about that Jenga tower. It's like, Russ has added to it these last few years, but his blocks are small for these last couple of seasons as opposed to his 2017 year where it's obviously much bigger. So yeah, I think that's like kind of a natural spot for him to land. I think he's pretty safely in there. I mean, there's even some guys knocking on the door that we'll talk about at the end of this series, maybe next year. But he's not one of the ones that'll fall out to me. I think he's pretty firmly in that kind of tier, and we'll probably stay there. So, I want to make sure we got that. So this game, how we kind of got to the 2012, finals game 4. Russ's 4th season. He's second time making both the All-Star team and second team All-NBA. OKC was 47-19 in a lockout shortened season. This is also the year of Linsanity, and everyone's playing 66 games. Lockout, season didn't start till Christmas. Just kind of a crazy condensed schedule. They were the 2 seed in the West. They swept the defending champion Mavs in the first round, beat the Lakers in 5 in the second round, and then won a classic Western Conference Finals against the Spurs in 6 after going down 0-2 in that series to start. Miami was obviously coming off of the finals loss to Dallas in 2011 and had plenty of trials in the playoffs, but got to the finals after a real classic series in the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston. So, Mitch, this was very nearly Spurs Celtics in 2012, and we both
also
lost.
Could have been Spurs Thunder, and I don't know. Celtics Thunder.
It could have, yes, in heartbreaking fashion. We both were knocked out. OKC won game 1 of the series before Miami responded with 2 close wins in game 2 and game 3, setting up this game 4. And we get the classic combo of JVG and Mike Breen on the call. Just 2-man booth, and it was awesome. Yes, I was like, I missed these 2 specifically.
This is peak cinema.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. So, Evan, I'm going to kick it to you first for this, our first category. What was the sequence that you felt summed up Russell Westbrook from this game?
There's that moment where he gets the and one over, I think it was Udonis Haslem in like the third quarter, where it felt like kind of what Adam was talking about there, where he kind of sensed that KD was struggling. Obviously, James Harden wasn't having it that night, and he started to force it out of a little bit of necessity, and he starts attacking the rim at will. And there was actually a play just before that where he attacked the rim, kind of got hit on the arm, made a contested layup, no foul called. He was mad about it, obviously chirping the ref like he always does. And then a couple possessions later goes at Udonis Haslem. His chirping pays off, gets the call, makes the layup. Huge momentum shift in the game. Obviously, I think it brought the game from like a 7-point lead to a 4-point lead. Didn't ultimately matter, but that was a big moment in the game. And one of my favorite moments just because I feel like it summed up kind of Russ's sense of the game, but also how intense he is, like just with the refs, with his teammates, with opposing players, just always relentless, regardless of the situation. Like wasn't going to back down from anybody.
Yeah, it is a skill he has, or it's the confidence that he has in himself and in his team. No matter the situation, it's truly impressive. And people can see that as slightly egotistical, and that's fine. That's what you have to be as an athlete. I feel like there's a part of you that has to be a little bit egotistical, and to be one of the best guys at your sport. Him noticing like, hey, this is how I get off, kind of is like how I get better and how I can show up in these games. That's how he was chirping everybody, and that was just kind of his mode, and like that's what built him up to just go crazy in some of these games. So I like that. Adam, what did you have for the sequence that summed up Russ?
I had actually put the start of the game. I thought it was one of those games where you can tell pretty early on that he's kind of got it, and it looks like he's playing as if he's like shot out of a cannon. And he has like a few possessions earlier in the game where I was like, okay, you can kind of see he's like got the look like this is going to be one of those nights. And I think I've seen that in person. I've been at games where I'm like, okay, Russ is like clearly like up for this tonight, and it's just there's just athletically not much you can do. So I had actually the very start of the game.
See, I had the start of the second quarter because second half. Sorry, because you can tell that KD is not fully in it. Harden has made his only 2 shots he's going to make all game, and our guy Kendrick Perkins is really doing a lot of work out there, a lot of cardio.
Kendrick Perkins.
God. I can't believe he played that much.
Too much. Also, Harden was atrocious in this
terrible. Game. Like non-existent.
Yeah.
He goes 0 of 4 in the second half / fourth quarter. He plays the entire fourth quarter and goes 0-4. Harden, I mean. And Russ is like, God damn it. And then Russ has to go 7 of 9, which, that fourth quarter, he has 17 points, and he's doing all of the scoring, basically. 17 of the 23 points that the Thunder have in that fourth quarter.
It's the only reason it's a game. I mean, Miami actually is playing really well. Like, and like a bunch of guys are chipping in for Miami. And it's like the only reason this is even a game is because Russ is just on fire.
I'm pretty sure him and KD were the only ones that scored in that fourth quarter too, if I remember correctly. Like,
you are absolutely correct. Yeah, it's
like
KD has 6
and their offense completely stalled out. Like they really like had nothing going for them.
Ev, do you miss Reggie Jackson in a game like this? Do you miss seeing Reggie Jackson on the court at all?
Yeah, it would have been nice to have a serviceable backup point guard like
Not
Reggie Jackson for how much. We all know Adam's love for Derek Fisher, but he was not a serviceable. Like he was unplayable in this game. But yeah, like for as much shit as Reggie Jackson gets for his time with the Thunder, and some of it he brought on himself, like he had some huge moments with the Thunder and like super valuable for his time that he spent there. So any help off the bench in this game would have been instrumental for this team.
Scott Brooks, man.
It's gotta be.
Good Lord. Adam, what did you have for your non-basketball moment from this game?
I said it already, but the excellent combo of bringing JVG. And I said specifically this version of JVG, where it's like, there's a couple jokes in there, but he, especially in the finals, like he really was like just so locked into the action, and he's calling out stuff that he's seeing. Like he's really in coach mode, and it's like about the game, but still has like the occasional moment of like, oh, that was kind of, clever or funny. Like I like when he does a little bit of that. When he veers so far into that, it's a little bit annoying. I thought this was like a perfect broadcast, and Breen's just the best. I mean, he's just so good, and it just feels like a big game. It feels like a really, really big game, and they give it kind of the proper gravity.
Yeah, I had the exact same thing. Like Mike Breen's voice, it's just like it screams NBA Finals, and Van Gundy's like, you feel like you're learning while you're watching the game. Whenever you're like watching with him on the call, like I feel like he's, like you said, he's noticing things, but he doesn't like over explain it. He doesn't seem like he's coming across as like, oh, I know more than you. He's just like, it feels like he's sitting next to you on the couch while you're watching the game. Like he finds that perfect like marriage of it. So that was the same thing I had.
I think you said it perfectly. Van Gundy makes it personal. And I think for an NBA fan, casual or expert, whatever you want to say, like his knowledge can kind of translate throughout all of it. I think his ability to make you feel, like you said, I've been sitting on the couch next to you. I think that's what when Jackson joins the duo and makes it a trio, it becomes more of a joke in my mind. Just like he tries to make it more funny because he feels like he has to. But I agree, Adam. Like, I think all three of us agree with this. A duo is better than any trio. I think it's just it gets too diluted when there's a third man in the booth or woman.
Too much battling for like airtime rather than just like actually talking about what's happening on the court,
and like I feel like that's been a common stance like from like the fan experience for a long time. Like I don't know why we still have ESPN 3-person booths, especially for these huge games.
I think they feel like that's like giving it like the big treatment. Oh, we've got a third person, but to me it's the opposite. Like
totally.
Like I would be like, I actually think a regular season game could use a third person if it's like a blowout or whatever, they can kind of bounce off each other, tell stories and things like that. The finals need to be like focused on just like the basketball, and like I don't need like another voice in there. Like just give me like these two main people, one describing the action and the one telling me kind of like what's happening and why it's happening. That's all we need.
I will say in some of the past years, especially this past year with Legler and Richard Jefferson, Legler was great, but that's the thing. We always notice like the one good guy and then the one anchor. And let me just say, Legler was not the anchor, and he was great. But it's also like they find their teams that they want to like focus on. When there's a bucket, when there's a turnover, you talk about this guy, and then the other side, you're kind of like the main guy who talks about this team. So it feels like there's a little bit of division in that sense too sometimes.
Yeah, I'd be totally content with Breen and Legler. Like that'd be fine with me. Like if that was the finals, I'd be happy.
Once Kerr retires, let's just put him back in a bit.
Oh, Kerr was the best, but he's still going to be coaching for a bit. So yeah, Kerr was so good.
Real quick, I want to give Mario Chalmers his shout out for having 25 points
He
in
was
this
awesome.
game.
He was awesome. Yes. Shockingly good in this game. Yes.
Jesus. This was like the one bad Mike Miller game that I'm remembering. Because Adam, was he better later on with the Heat, or was it the 2011 series, or it was 2013, wasn't it?
13, he has some big moments. Yeah. 13, him and Batty have some big moments. No, he didn't quite work out the way they hoped it to. I mean, he had some injuries, and obviously he's later in his career, but I think they thought that he was going to be a bit of a bigger player than he ended up being with them, just in general. He had some big moments in 2013, but yeah, overall, I don't think that quite worked the way that they wanted to. And I actually have the end of the game here, kind of the post LeBron cramps.
Please.
If we want to go through it real quick. Which is, again, just crazy. Like, he's cramping up in this just gigantic game. The biggest game of his career up to that point, pretty much. Game is tied at 92, just under 5 minutes left. LeBron is out of the game. Had been dealing with cramps. He comes back in, and the game's tied, and he hits a 3 with 2:53 left. And, like, this is one of those, like, it's a ho-hum, like, LeBron game. Like, this is, like, his 50th best, like, playoff game. But it's, like, pretty wild. Like, he has this awesome finish and comes back from cramps and hits, like, the shot that, like, gives him the lead. Like,
It's his 1-3.
Has all these like amazing plays. Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, another like ho hum, great LeBron playoff game. KD miss on the other end, and then Wade bucket on Russ. So it's 99-94 now. Russ bucket, 143 left, 99-96. Braun with a bad miss on the other end. Tabo bad miss on the other end, and then Chalmers steals it with 45 seconds left, gets a bucket. And then Russ goes down and scores right away. OKC forces a tough shot and then get a jump ball that Miami controls. But then Russ fouls, even though the shot clock is not reset. They actually have a chance there to just like get a stop, but he looks over the bench like, "What are you talking about?" And it's like points to the clock, and they're like, "Yeah, it didn't reset. Like you shouldn't have fouled there." That's a tough one. That was a tough look to kind of end the game. Chalmers hits both free throws and eventually steals the win, 104-98 Heat, and they go up 3-1. We'll go on to win Game 5 and win the championship. But yeah, that's like the full Russ experience, right? It's like he has all these just like incredible plays, and then has one play where you're like, "Oh, dude, like what? Like just played defense there." It's like there's only 3 seconds left on the shot clock, but
Totally.
Yeah. Just couldn't quite. Yeah,
I hear you. Anything else from this game that you guys wanted to talk about, or do you want to move to honestly this crazy regular season game?
we can move on. I'm ready.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
do
good. This was the first time. Obviously, the Thunder had been in NBA Finals, and I just remember being like a kid. Not being as invested as I am now, but as a kid, you're just like, you hate LeBron. That's just the thing you do when you're 12 years old. And yeah, I had my heart all into this. And then just watching them fall apart those 3 games in a row, it was brutal. But we eventually got, redemption as Thunder fans, but it does leave like a little, we can talk about this later when we talk about Russ' retirement, but it does leave a little hole in my heart knowing that he never got a ring. And yeah, maybe that's his legacy. He was just never able to get to that upper echelon.
Yeah. I'll say this, Evan, we just background. I mean, you've been on the pod so many times, but we grew up not in a basketball home. And when our introduction to basketball mostly was the 07-08 Celtics.
Yeah.
And once the Oklahoma City got a team, you're like, yeah, bye-bye Celtics. And you would cheer with me.
Yeah.
Like you were cheering with me in that Eastern Conference Finals. I still remember watching Game 6 of 2012 Eastern Conference Finals and not crying because I'm 14 and I'm trying to be, a strong macho 6-foot kid who weighs 110 pounds. But it's one of those moments you're like, son of a bitch. And so you're also, again, like you said, we're cheering against LeBron. And so you've had 2 straight series of 2 straight rounds of the playoffs where you're cheering against this guy, and then your team goes against him in the finals. It's like, yeah, I'm sure it's just one of those moments you're like, gosh dang it. And like you said, the emotional investment of a 12-year-old for a team that we don't have like within a 6-hour drive of our city. It was tough. So,
right.
But how many times did you get to see Russ live?
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier. I think, Adam, we just saw them once, right? In high school. We saw them play the Grizzlies. Overtime thrilling win.
That was a great game.
Alex Abrinas.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
I think I only saw him 3 times. 2, I saw him OKC
Bulls?
The Bulls game in whatever year that was.
11 or 12. No,
and then,
13.
And then I went in 2018 and watched a Saturday night Spurs and Thunder game in OKC. ESPN game, and the Thunder won that one too. So yeah, that was a good game.
Gotcha.
But yeah, only
Very-
3 teams, unfortunately.
Hey, it's all right. It's more than some people do.
Yeah.
You get to see the best player who plays in a different city.
That Grizzlies Thunder game that Evan referenced there, missed maybe a story for another time, but was nearly a disastrous night for your boy here.
Or Adam almost
Go
got
for it.
fired that evening.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Okay,
I know the story.
Yeah, okay. So obviously I was the assistant coach for Evan's varsity team. So that would have been that was your senior year. Yeah. So this would have been like December of 2017.
Yep.
And we go see. The year before we had gone and a parent went with me. I had the idea of like, hey man, like I told our head coach Terry, I was like, a lot of these guys haven't been to an NBA game. That's something I grew up doing. I'd love to like, let's go. Like, let's find the closest one and go. And so we had this kind of like pocket in our schedule where we didn't have a game or anything. And it was in December. And so the year before we had taken, it was me and was it, whose dad was it that went with us?
Jack Lukemeyer's dad?
That's right. Yes. Yeah. He went with us and we took the group and we actually stayed. Like we stayed in Memphis, got a hotel, and like actually hung out for kind of like, a good 24 hours and had kind of like a whole night of it. The next year, we had a maybe slightly less mature group, so they didn't really trust me.
14-year-olds.
Yes, a lot of freshmen. Yes, Evan was a senior. We had 2 other very mature seniors with us, but that I relied on heavily on this trip. And no parents went with me, so they were like, "You can do it, but you got to come back same day. Like, we're not going to let you stay there." The parents like don't want to pay for it. I was like, "Okay, that's fine." So I'm like, "I'll just drive. It's fine. We'll get back at 4 a.m. It's okay." So. Go to the game. We were all sitting up top together. We're hanging out. It was a great time. We went and got food before. We got, chicken before and, having a blast. A bunch of those guys, it was their first NBA game. Like that was cool. And I remember being pretty cold. So it was just like, we walked down Beale Street a bit. So game happens. Second half, we moved down. You, me, and someone else. Or maybe it was seniors.
I think it was just the 2 of us. Yeah, I think we all split up into like groups of 2.
Yes. Yeah, it might have just been you and I. And we got down like to a pretty good seat in the lower bowl for the second half. And I guess at some point, so we had driven the school's van to the game. At some point in my pocket of my joggers, I had kind of leaned against like the seat, like in front of me or whatever, and the keys had fallen out, I guess. So we're walking out of the game. I obviously didn't realize this at the time. So we're walking out of the arena. We get halfway to our car, and you're walking next to me. I kind of reach my pocket and I just go, "Oh shit!" And I was like, "Hey, I don't think I have the key." And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't think I have the key." And then we kind of like subtly told the other 2 seniors, and I was like, "Hey, the key I think is still in the arena." And so you ran back into the arena, and I just kind of faked it for a little bit with like the younger guys. I was like, "Let's just go back," and I mean, they started to figure out at some point like, what do we do? Why are we not getting in the van? Like we're kind of we went we kept walking the van, and Evan went back to the arena. And you're not really supposed to go back in the arena, but obviously, situation. So you can kind of take it from there. So what exactly happened when you got back to the arena?
I had to do some convincing of like the ushers at the entrance of the building being like we literally, I need to get in there to get my key. So they let me in, ran back to the seat where Adam and I were sitting, and I couldn't find the key anywhere. But as I'm like shaking the seat, I can like hear something like jiggling around. So I straight up like tear the cushion off of the plastic of the seat to like get in between. And it was just a quarter. It wasn't even the keys. But that's like how desperate we were, because like if we didn't find the keys, like we're gonna have to like try to find like one hotel room for like however many of us to sleep in that night that a parent was gonna have to pay for.
Yeah.
And then someone have to drive up the spare key the next day. Like it would have been terrible if there even was a spare key, or we'd have to call.
There was a spare key. I did know that. I did know, and I knew where it was too. So I did, because he made me sign a checklist before I left our AD, and he was like, "Here's a spare key. If anything happens, like it is here, you kind of call me." And so in my mind, I'm panicking. I'm like, I'm gonna get fired. Like we're gonna be okay. Like we're not gonna die out here. Anything. Like we'll get a hotel. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. I did have the school gas card, so like they probably would let me put like some food on that and things like that. So we would have survived, but I was going to be in some deep trouble. And someone was going to drive all the way to Memphis the next day. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I do not want to make someone do that. Like this was already kind of a battle getting like them to allow me to do this. Like it's never going to happen again if we don't find this key. So
I like resign to like defeat and like, we're going to have to do something. And so I'm walking back out into the concourse, and there's a janitor pushing his little cart right behind me. And I didn't even think to talk to him or anything, because obviously he was cleaning up, all the different sections in that area. and like just like a voice behind me, I hear, "Did you forget your key?" And I just turn around and he's just like holding the van key. I'm like, yeah,
Angel.
I sure did. And like just like perfect timing, like the fact that I walked out at that exact moment, that he was right there, and he thought to like ask me if I was looking for a key, which I guess is a fair question since there aren't any fans in the arena at that time. But
Yeah.
found the key, went back to the van, and Adam drove us home, and we got home at like 5 a.m.
Yeah,
Gosh.
the last like 2 hours were brutal. I'm thankful Zach Niemeyer, he stayed up in the front with me and at least kept me awake. But the last couple hours, it was one of those like, man, I'm hitting a
Yeah.
wall. Just kind of, I think we drove through a Wendy's and like just ordered like a ton of food and like
Yeah.
like, tons in the back and just that was a pretty chaotic trip. Yeah, if I ever did that again, I would definitely want to stay the night. But I really was like, I don't know if they would have fired me, but they would have been really upset.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been good.
No, it would not have been good. So no, him finding the key. I remember we played the what's the Drake song? I Got the Keys, or the
Yeah.
Jay-Z song. The keys, the keys,
Yeah.
the keys. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was we blasted that in the car on the way back. But good times. The game was
Yeah.
great though.
Yeah. Good Thunder
All right.
win.
There we go. Speaking of Thunder wins, let's fast forward. Let's fast forward and also rewind from that trip, but fast forward from the 2012 game to 2017 to the end. Is this game 82?
No, I think it's game 80.
Yeah, there was
Game
like
80.
2 games left.
Yeah.
Okay, game 80. That's right. Yeah. Game 80, and it's Thunder Nuggets in Denver. And this is the Russell Westbrook MVP season. This is just Russell Mania, and it's awesome. And Adam, why don't you tell us how we got to this game on April 9th of 2017?
Yeah, I mean, so like you said, this is just a few months before the game that we just told the story of. This is in April of 2017. Russ's first season without Kevin Durant in his career. He obviously left for Golden State in 2016 offseason. Russ went on an absolute tear this season individually, and the team was pretty solid too, largely because of him. This is game number 80, and so the stakes here are basically a win here. The Thunder were probably going to be the 6th seed, but a win here guaranteed it, and the Nuggets had to win out to still have a chance at the playoffs.
Right,
so a loss here for the Nuggets would have knocked them out of the playoffs. This is second year Jokic, very young rookie year Jamal Murray. This is kind of like an early look at this Thunder team, or this Nuggets team, they've got some some young talent. We'll see what happens. Gallinari was on fire in this game, so that's kind of like the cast of characters that we are playing with here. The Thunder really controlled. I'm sorry, the Nuggets really controlled most of the game, but down the stretches we'll get into. Russ has his say.
Let me just say, I forgot. There's a little disdain in my heart for Wilson Chandler. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the face that's tattooed on his neck. But it is just, there's some part of me that is not really that, but there's some part of me that I can't become a fan of Wilson Chandler, and I don't know what it is. But this is one of the crazy Russ games. You talk about it, that fourth quarter, just the end of this game for Russ, and that's what I'll just say. The culmination of the final shot, the back pass from Steven Adams to Russ to hit the game winner is just, that's pure chaos, and that just feels like Russ. It's the organized chaos that is a Russell Westbrook game. And man, Evan, what was your reaction just watching that game and rewatching it this time? Like, still chills?
Oh yeah, every time it's chills. Like, it's that last minute and a half where it's what Adam and you were talking about earlier. Like, it's literally just baseline to baseline. Like, he is just he knows they need quick buckets, and on the defensive boards, we'll talk about his ability to rebound, but he's hauling in hard defensive rebounds at the end of this game and just taking it coast to coast.
Yep.
Attacking the rim. He had this crazy and one with barely under a minute left that made it a 2-point game that ultimately set him up for his game-winning 3. But that last minute of that game, last minute and a half, is just it's the embodiment of Russ. He's just so ferocious, grabbing rebounds and just putting his head down and getting to the rim at will. And really willing this team. It was kind of the embodiment of the whole season. Putting the team on his back, getting another clutch win. He had a lot of those this season. In 2017, another one that comes to mind is a shot against I remember a game-winning shot against the Magic. I just remember that was just an insane season. He just came up big so many different times. And then obviously this game, was the biggest one of them all. And like you said, Mitch, like the Steven Adams pass, like that goes to show like the trust that Steven Adams had in Russell Westbrook. Like most guys would like not turn around with 2 seconds left and pass to a guy that's behind them for an even further shot. Like there's probably guys that are closer to the basket that could maybe get a better look, but he's like, no, Russ is the guy. And like he was a great teammate for Russ, like one of probably Russell's best teammates in OKC for sure. And yeah, that pass and then the shot and the celebration, like I watched the Nuggets broadcast when I was rewatching the game because I don't think I'd ever heard it from their perspective before from their commentators.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like my favorite non-basketball moment up from this game was hearing them react to the shot. It was just like Russell shoots it and he makes it. And like it's just like and like the crowd goes silent. Or actually the crowd did not go silent. Like when Russ like breaks the record in this game,
the crowd's going crazy for the record.
The crowd's going nuts. It was like that, and that's kind of what it was all season, honestly, or like the second half of the season. Like any away game, like everybody was rooting for Russ. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, Adam, you talked about it. He breaks the record, and then he also like he has this crazy end of the game. It's like it is this full circle moment for him, and it all culminates in this one hell of a game-winning shot.
It does, yeah. And I have the ending here. So Denver's up by 7 with the ball with under a minute left.
Yeah.
This is this is a crazy finish. Russ makes 3 free throws. Jokic misses a 3. Russ makes 3 free throws on the other end. And then there's that Wilson Chandler charge, which was a little bit like, okay. Like
they were, I mean, all the there was like 3 Thunder players that like threw themselves to the ground on that.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we'll take it.
Charge.
And then Russ gets a layup on the other end, so makes it 105-103. Like you said, that gets them a chance to set up. 27.1 left. Jokic misses that floater, so they actually decide to just play straight up defense. They don't foul. Jokic misses the floater. Russ gets the rebound. Costs him out with 2.9 left. OKC gets into Adams. He pitches it back to Russ. Obviously, he drills the 3 at the buzzer to win it. And yeah, I mean, I have the end of the game too for like the because it sums up perfectly. Gives him the triple-double record, obviously, this game, and gives him exactly 50 on the night, knocks the Nuggets out of the playoffs, and seals the 6th seed for the Thunder. It's like this perfect like encapsulation of the season. Like, just like, yeah, it's like almost like too Hollywood. Oh, he's going to give him exactly 50 points. Like that's just like too crazy to even be real. But it was. And yeah, it was just one of those games where the second I actually wasn't watching it live. It was one of those like I recorded them, I watch it later, and I was doing some other stuff. I remember getting home, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to watch the end of this. Because like I was following the score and I'm like, how the hell did they win that game? Like they're down by 10, like the majority of the fourth quarter, down by 7 with a minute left, and yet they win it. So no, that just kind of goes to show kind of everything he had that season.
And like
Russ,
the cast of characters on, sorry, Mitch.
No,
the cast of characters on this roster, which we talked about earlier, but like the play that gives Russ the record for most triple doubles in a season is the kick out pass to Samaj Christian.
Yes! I was gonna say, Evan, you could give me 4 million guesses on who that was, and I would never have gotten it. Like,
and that was his only point of the entire game.
Yes, like, why is he even in?
Never heard of again, and yeah, just crazy. Like that goes to show, like those are the players that he was like setting up for assists. Like,
yeah,
Taj Gibson is a starting power forward in 2017. I mean, I guess Taj Gibson is still playing now, so it doesn't really matter. But Enes Kanter, Enes Freedom, what a joke! But like he's out there.
I was just gonna say the cast of guys they throw out in the fourth quarter. I mean, because Roberson doesn't play, Gibson doesn't play in the fourth quarter. Singler plays the entire fourth quarter. That's what's crazy to me. And then Grant
Singler's another one that yikes his post playing career. Yeah,
super downhill.
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant almost plays the entire fourth quarter. Sabonis and Freedom both play under 5 minutes, and Samaj Kristen only plays 8 minutes in the fourth quarter, which is just crazy to me. Russ has 5 of the 8 makes in the fourth quarter for the Oklahoma City Thunder. The fact that they have 8 made field goals and 25 points is also ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how that math doesn't make sense in my head. I guess there's
Russ
only
the line.
Yeah, 6 from the line for Russ too. But yeah, it's that fourth quarter stretch from Russ. It's we've said it. I'll say it again. Just it's the full carrying. This is the definition of carrying a team across the finish line.
Yeah. And, for a brief second while I was watching, I was like, oh wait, I think I just watched 3.5 quarters of the wrong game. I was like, there's no way the Thunder win this game. I think I'm watching like the wrong game. I was like, no, this is right.
But Evan, you brought up that clip of the end of the Nuggets Thunder from the Nuggets broadcast. I've seen that clip like on Twitter a few times, and so like that was the first thing I thought. Oh my gosh, it is so funny. Aaron has sent me that. Aaron and I have watched that clip many times, and just
why not? Yeah, I mean, the broadcast crew is like, oh, our season's over. Like Adam said, like they can't go to the playoffs, and crazy.
I'll say this: my non-basketball moment is the memory that I have of watching this game with Aaron, and almost similar to the Nuggets broadcast. We were sitting in his dorm room in our rolly chairs. Like the chair I'm sitting in right now is something very similar to this. And we're like, and Aaron gets up and then walks out and goes to the bathroom, and that's his night. He was so pissed. I'm like, all right, then there's the end of my evening. So it's just a crazy game. Gosh. Few things I wanted to say. Emmanuel Mudiay, great game. And then Gallinari.
That was awesome. I mean, that's Pete Gallinari, like showing up in a regular season game.
He was fantastic. Like genuinely, he was like unstoppable. Like everything he tried worked. He was so good. He's kind of an underrated player. Like he actually had like a lot more good kind of high quality seasons than people remember. Just one of those guys who never quite was like all-star level, but was just kind of just a hair below that. My non-basketball, I had the Nuggets jerseys. I loved those jerseys, and then just kind of getting to watch a young Jokic was like, that's pretty cool. Like you see little flashes of like,
that was fun.
That was Jokic. He's not the same, that he became later, but you see a couple moments where it's like, okay, you can kind of see what he's going to become. He's a really unique player.
Yeah, totally.
I agree. Anything else from this game before we move to our final categories?
Just like the celebration after he makes the shot, just like running back towards the bench, just like in the air, like jumping, and like Victor Oladipo's got him wrapped up and like putting a fake crown on him. It was it was a whole moment, like doing it like that. He just like embraced being the villain that game, like in Denver. It's like, I'm just going to send him home early. The aftermath of the shot is just like, because another thing is like Russ is so emotional, and like he's angry, he's happy, and like he's got just the biggest smile on his face after he makes that shot. Like this is just a little kid playing basketball right now. It's like you just makes you love the game.
Completely agree. All right, so Adam, do you have a Westbrook jersey?
I do. It's that like knockoff UCLA one. Remember I showed you that last week?
I've got the exact. I've got a white one. Is that the one you have?
I have the baby blue one.
Okay.
You didn't want to hang that up?
Hold it up. Yeah, let me grab it.
Yeah. I've got the white one.
Hang that up real quick. While you're at it, I mean, Evan. So you have the one you're wearing right now, the short sleeve one that I got you for Christmas one of the years. How many different Russ jerseys do you have?
This is the only Thunder one I have, which is kind of nuts. I should honestly get another. I should get like a standard blue Thunder jersey for Westbrook. Yeah, that's sick. I love that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I've got this Thunder one. I've got the white UCLA one that looks just like that. And then I've got, like I said, the Rockets one, which is just a tough one to have. It was during COVID. Yeah, like right in the heat of COVID, and I was working from home and like making money, but like legitimately had nothing to spend money on because I was living at my parents' house. All of my food was paid. Like I was just like, I'm just going to buy stuff. I was like buying shoes and I was buying jerseys, and it was like, I'm just going to buy a Russell Westbrook jersey because why not? Should have just bought a Thunder one, but whatever.
Yeah, you probably could have got a Thunder one for like half off, like right around that time. Like they were just like popping up all over the place.
Yeah,
but, oh well.
I'm sure. What other top 50 player would you pair Russell Westbrook with? And it can't be a former teammate of his. Adam, I'll go to you first on this one. Who did you put down for this?
Yeah, this is one I put quite a bit of thought in. There's usually guys that pop into your mind like right away for some of these, and but he's a pretty specific player and a pretty specific personality type. So you have to be kind of like specific with who you pair him with. So I wanted a guy who was really good. I wanted a big, really good kind of cover for him defensively a little bit. Could be a secondary scorer if he needed to be. but would allow him to kind of be the kind of like main guy in the team and allow him to kind of like, have his kind of ego moments and not worry about that so much. And so a guy who I think that did that brilliantly in our top 50 is Kevin McHale, who was totally fine being kind of like second fiddle. That's fine. I don't need to be, the main dude, but was capable of doing it, any night and had a skill set that could have played off of Russell Westbrook rather than overlapped. So that one kind of, the more I thought about that one, the more I liked it. So I think he would be a really good fit, both personality wise and on the court.
I kind of used the same rubric that you did, Adam, and I came up with, ultimately decided on your boy, Tim Duncan. It was like, Tim Duncan and Russ would have been.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're quite literally polar opposites in the way they in the way they act on the court, like emotion wise. Like Tim Duncan was so like reserved, like it was rare if you got him like to show emotion. But yeah, I think he would have been great. Like, being another offensive option for him. And yeah, being a distributor, just kind of, being another anchor on the floor. But yeah, it's weird because Russ, like, I don't know, like one of his main detractors is like, he really never like, other than KD and one year with Paul George, like he never like really like played really, really well next to another superstar other than KD. And that's one of his few like major flaws in his career,
is that you can't really just put him in any situation. Like, it really needs to be kind of like optimized for him.
Yeah.
And that is a flaw to me. I mean, that is a flaw, especially for when you want to win at the highest level. It's like, to me, the biggest like frustration with his career is the Lakers stint, like for a couple of reasons, because it really kind of hurt that team, but it also hurt him. It never made sense before they even tried it.
I knew it was never going to work.
Yeah, it was just a bad mix, and I just don't like how it played out, kind of personality wise. And I just wish we could redo that whole little stretch. Like, they don't make that trade, they kind of go after somebody different, or they just keep Caruso or whatever they decide to do. But I just wish we could ever redo on that for everybody's sake. I think this would have been better for everybody.
Yeah, because that's when it got super toxic. I mean, when you play for the Lakers, you're gonna have all eyes on you and their fan base, but like, that's when like the hate got like totally out of control for Russ. And who do you think would have been a better team for him to get traded to that year after the Wizards?
So that was so it'd be the 2021 offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, another team like that's like, hey, we're not a title contender, but like we want to make the playoffs and we want to kind of be in the mix. Maybe like the Pacers, like they're kind of in that as post Oladipo, like, but they still have some talent and they're still pretty good for a couple of years. Yeah, I mean, pre-Halliburton. Yeah, so I think that might be like that might have been a good fit for him. It's like he can kind of be himself, although him and Carlisle might have clashed, so maybe that's the drawback.
Yeah,
was Carlisle there at that point?
Carlisle may not have been there quite yet. It might have still been Bjorkgren. Remember that 1 year of Nate Bjorkgren?
Yeah.
So maybe it wasn't Carlisle quite yet. So maybe that would have been okay. I don't know, but him and Bjorkgren might clash. But I think that style of team, a Pacers type, like, clearly not a top, 3 or 4 team, but like a good team, like he shouldn't have been on some, junker. So someone like that, I think would have been a good fit, probably in the East,
Yeah, he proved that like a team built around him wasn't a championship caliber team. Like he would have to be the third best guy on a team for them to win a title.
At that point in his career, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he was, the second best player, obviously, in 2012, and then in 2016, got super close. Feel like they would have had a shot in 2016 if they had won in the conference finals. And I don't know, so many what ifs with his career, especially with the Thunder.
For sure.
I'm glad he got the MVP. Like, I'll debate anybody on it. I know, like, James Harden had a great case. Kawhi also had a phenomenal case that year. And I'm just glad he got that for his time in OKC.
Yeah. My player, I went similar mold. I went actual center, and I went with Dwight Howard, a guy who doesn't necessarily need, he likes his points, but he doesn't. But I think that's when Russ was at his best, was when, if he had a souped up Steven Adams almost. If he had a guy who he could just run pick and rolls and just an actual lob threat, and then also had a real anchor, I think that would be like defensive anchor. I think that would help him out a lot too. So I just said a souped up Steven Adams in my mind was Dwight Howard. So
I like that one.
Where did you guys have Dwight Howard in your overall rankings?
He is also in that like back tier, the 41 to 50, same tier as Russell Westbrook. So yes, he does.
That makes sense too.
The other guy I thought about was Ewing, but I thought he might still like to be the number one option. in moments or just be the silly face of a team. But
yeah. And yeah,
Howard,
Ewing was a really good leader. So I think that like he kind of had that part covered, you know?
Yeah. Who is within the Russell Westbrook family tree? So Evan, this is basically players who are very similar mold or almost like a one leg different of Russell Westbrook. I mean, there's the guy he's continuously compared to pre-injury and Derrick Rose. But like of today's ilk, like who is the Russell Westbrook? Is it Anthony Edwards just is Anthony Edwards just the upgraded version of him with a better jump shot?
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly more talented offensively, like different style of game. Like Russell Westbrook's not going to like he's just, I think Anthony Edwards is far more graceful. I mean, but when Anthony Edwards gets around the rim, I think the ferocious dunking ability is definitely comparable because Anthony Edwards is one of the only guys in the league who's still like, will throw it down like that. Like Russ, even like last year and his final years would like have moments in games where like, he's just like, I'm going to dunk on somebody right now. Like, seems like he always has a personal vendetta out for Rudy Gobert. Like he's just going to go after him every game that they have against each other. He's got some great dunks.
He's not alone in that department. Yeah.
Oh, no. He's got some great dunks over Rudy in his career. Yeah, I don't know. Current day, a player that came to my mind was Gary Payton. Like as far as just like the attitude.
That's why I said Ant too, is just the attitude that Ant has. I mean, the chirping was just
totally.
With Ant.
These guys are different style of players, but like just the kind of like the crazy speed, athleticism. Obviously, they're very different style players than Russ. But the Thompson twins to me kind of remind me, like kind of attitude wise and athleticism wise, kind of remind me of Russ a little bit. And some of the flaws too, right? So I think those are two. They're not point guards really, but I think they stand out to me.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think Amen over Asar.
Yeah, Amen especially. Yeah.
Yeah, Amen Thompson. Yeah, there's this athleticism to the Amen Thompson who is very similar, and Asar Thompson's there too. He feels more of a wing-ish. At least Russ wasn't afraid to shoot. And
certainly wasn't one of his
whether for betterment or for fault. I mean, whether good or bad moments, that you can take that with whatever you want. The final question is, where are they now? And like I said earlier, we're recording this on the day he's retiring. And I mean, I'll let Evan just go first here because of just the impact that he had on your fandom and everything. But what timing by us just to be like, but I think this is a shock to everyone that he's retiring this year.
It's funny. I said it last year, before he signed with the Kings. I was like, I think he should retire. Like, go out while you still like, you didn't go out totally sad. Like you're not like a bum out there. You're not, that's not ugly. And yeah, he played, fine for the Kings. He was a backup, point guard for them. And I think he probably just realized that his priorities are probably different now. And, I think he's made his mark. I don't think he feels like he has to prove anything anymore. And yeah, I'd rather him go out this way than go out, 3 years from now. And it's just ugly. I don't want to see my legend go out like that. So, I'm at peace with it. Still pretty sad about it, but yeah, very thankful for the player that he was and knowing, pros and cons and, all of it. Like, just like what a fun player to root for.
Man, even from afar, because I cheered for him because you're my brother, and so I like to keep up with like your fandoms as well. But it's one of those things too. Like, part of me wanted him to end his career just in a Celtic jersey because it would have been fun for you to Russ Celtics jersey. Couldn't get 0 though, unfortunately, or double 0 even. But it's just one of those things where, man, it would have been really cool to have him play in both your favorite team and mine, and just end it that way. But yeah, I think it's 18 years. Is that 18 years in the league? And it doesn't feel like it was that long.
I know that makes me feel old, man.
But when you see those pictures of him, like when he looks like just like he's like actually like scrawny little kid.
Yeah.
Like those first couple of years where the like jerseys like hugging him.
Yeah.
It is crazy, but yeah, when you see all those pictures like through all the years, it's like, damn, yeah, that was 18 years.
I mean, that's what's crazy to me. But yeah, I think that one of my favorite times is whenever I was whenever it was like end of high school and early college, and that's how we were communicating. Evan was just I would text you about Russ nights, just how Russ's stat line, or I still remember when you guys got Paul George and like in Carmelo, and you're like freaking out, and I just remember being able to text you, be like, "Man, this might be a real Thunder team here." So I think that was just special for me. And then I think that 2021 season when he's with Washington, like you said, Adam, that was his last great year. I forget you. I mean, you have the Rockets jersey. I think that Wizards year is better. The statistics, scoring wise, he's is higher in Houston, but everything else is lower in Houston. That like assists and rebounds. Washington, he bumps that right back up. And I think that's when he like has his final like all around great year. And I remember that year so much more than I do the Houston year. And that might be because I don't like to remember the bubble.
And the Houston was just a weird fit. Like him and Harden on a team together, like at that stages of their career, just didn't make sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. Adam, what do you think of the man?
Yeah, I mean, he certainly makes me feel old. I mean, the 2008 Final Four was here in San Antonio. His UCLA team was there. That was an awesome UCLA team. You know, Kevin Love was the star, and so he gets drafted. And I think a lot of people thought, oh, this is gonna be like a nice defensive player. Like he was like all defense in the ACC or in the Pac-10 at the time, and it was like, this is gonna be a cool defensive guard who maybe he'll learn to have some on-ball skills and stuff like that. It's like what he turned into is, I mean, you got to credit the Thunder development, but also his own, right? Of just kind of like. He doesn't have these kind of natural like point guard skills, but he got those, and he ended up having these super high assist seasons, and turned into this like really amazing creator of offense and just generator of offense in general, which that was not what he was supposed to be. But he's had an incredible career. I mean, 18 years, that is just it's kind of flown by. And you probably the first 12 to 13, like we talked about kind of through that Washington, is like just a super, super elite high level player, durable, right? Like, I mean, his injury in the playoffs in 2013 is just because someone dives into his knee, it's like he brought it every night and could actually hang physically and play a ton of games and play a ton of minutes and actually, handle that burden. So, I think like fully deserving his place in our top 50, and we'll certainly be in the Hall of Fame, very soon once he's now that he's eligible, now that he's retired. So pretty crazy. So I also like he made you feel stuff, right? It's like you want players in the league who kind of like, I was never a hater. I was never like a super fan or anything, but he certainly made people feel things, and I think we just need more players like that. And I'm so glad that he, his kind of whole career kind of coincided with my time watching the game. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, like he was definitely a lightning rod, and made everybody feel like you had to have an opinion on him. For better or for worse. And like something that I don't think gets stated enough is like what a great teammate he was. Like I don't think, and maybe this is just like my rose lenses that I'm looking through, but like I don't remember a time where any teammate like during or after playing with Russ like talks negatively about him. Like maybe like Kevin Durant, but like other than that, like, well,
but those two who have said something, it's only about his game. Like everybody loves him as a guy. Like it's right. Like they're frustrated with like some of the game stuff. Like I get to spend some time with the guy who was on the Thunder at the time, right after his MVP season, and he said, "Man, y'all don't understand. Like this guy's awesome off the court. Like we love him. I mean, he's just
buckets."
A great, a great leader, and he organizes team events. Like he's like couldn't be a better teammate. Like everybody loves him. So I think that part is great. I mean, I'm sure there's on court frustrations that plenty of people have, and certainly guys at the level of like a KD and LeBron, you can understand why they would have some of those frustrations. But off the court, it sounds like he was an amazing dude, and family man, and just done a ton of work in the community. Seems like an awesome guy.
Yeah, like he's still like building infrastructure and like OKC and like building these like youth community centers and like can't remember what I saw recently, but he's like investing, or are they getting a women's soccer team there maybe? I don't know. He's very still involved in Oklahoma City. Like I have no doubts, like they're building this new arena right now. I have no doubts he'll have a statue outside of that arena. His jersey will be right next to Nick Collison's, They'll
do the jersey this year, I imagine, this upcoming season.
Think so?
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be
That'll be
cool.
really cool. Yeah.
You want to go to the game, Ev?
That'd be sick. Like I remember watching the Rockets Thunder game the year that he moved to the Rockets, and it was his first game back in OKC, and like he does his normal pregame routine, and like the crowd just going nuts the whole time, like just absolutely going nuts for him. And it was like that every time he came back, and like it seems like the feelings are definitely mutual between him and the city, which is pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Evan, listen, thanks so much for joining us to talk Russ. And yeah, I think there was no better person to have on to talk about it with. So thanks again for joining us. We will definitely be having you on more, especially just during the regular season. You and I might be doing season preseason rankings because Adam's going to be overseas in Greece. So I might be calling you into relief pitch for Adam during that. To do some
as long as it's after September 16th, I'm free.
You got it. It'll be a month there, post September 16th and pre October 15th before the baby comes. We're gonna knock these bad boys out. So,
well, Adam and I have a grudge match opening night too in San Antonio.
Sure do. I'm gonna try to be there. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be pricey, but
yeah, I'd imagine.
And don't worry. We have a 2 p.m. game.
I just saw that today. Yeah. Is that the real thing?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we want to promote to the European market, Evan. Where
that's a Tuesday, right?
It's Tuesday. Yeah.
2 p.m.
That's insane. That's insane.
Evan, you're
Who are they playing? Who are they playing?
The Pistons.
What? The 1 and 2.
The Celtics are playing the Pistons at 2 p.m.
It would make sense. It would make sense like if you did like the Pacers and the Hawks. Like that would be a great 2 p.m. Celtics. I mean, whatever. Everybody's NFL's first or second game of the year is going to be in Australia this year. What's happened to this country? I love.
Try to make it a worldly sport, Evan. Gosh dang it! Especially with the European League, that's European teams are going to be joining here soon.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, but no Premier League games are played at whatever time, so it's convenient for us, right? Nope. I mean, people are waking up at 6:30 in the morning on Sundays to watch the Premier League.
Exactly,
Adam. If you ever come to Chicago during over this off winter and fall, I have a Premier League bar we'll go to watch the game.
Oh hell yeah! We love that.
I have there's a bar not too far from me that we can go hang out at. Yeah, thanks Evan for joining. Adam, not similar in just the ferocity of his play, but a far different build and position. Next week we have Shaquille O'Neal. Just the physical dominance in a far different position in a far different way. Very excited. Can
I put you guys on the spot real quick before you sign off?
Yeah,
please.
Can we right here live rank all-time point guards?
Ooh, okay.
Like let's say Adam, Magic, Steph, in no particular order.
Yeah.
1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Do you want us to go based on our top 50?
Yeah, go based on our tiers. Yeah.
So we have Magic, and then it's Curry and Oscar. And then we have that's right, Pink Diamond is that. And then we, in this whatever order, we have Chris Paul, Stockton, Isaiah Thomas.
Yep.
And that's like our top 6. And we talked about it when we did Isaiah Thomas's episode, we did this out of order. We did Isaiah Thomas's last week, and we did the similar thing. Like he's definitely like top 5. And then so that's 6 of them already. And then we got Frazier, Kidd, Nash. That's 9. And then in the final tier, we have Kuzi, Peyton, Westbrook. That gives us 12. So Westbrook's in the top 12.
All right. No comment. You guys are the experts, not me.
I'll put it this way: he's probably my top 10.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think 10th is fair.
Yeah, I think it'd be crazy to put Gary Payton over him.
No, and that's
I would not either. I mean, I have them in the same tier, so it's like you can make the argument, but yeah, if I had to choose one of the two, I would have Russ's career for sure.
Yeah. Okay. No, I think I think those are fair rankings. I really do. I've slowly. I mean, you guys have both been on the receiving end of my extremely biased Russell Westbrook rants when I was in high school. So I've definitely sobered up a little bit since then, but I still try to ride for him when I can.
As you should. I think those top 6, it's hard to argue. But then you can start to, once you get after that, it's like, okay, there's, like, you can make a case against this guy or this guy, or,
I would say he's over Jason Kidd, but that might just be some of my bias creeping in. But
that tier, you can start to make some arguments.
I didn't grow up watching Jason Kidd. It's just hard. It's hard for me to say that Bob Cousy is better than Russell Westbrook when he clearly was, or
better's not the question. I mean, that's what we try to make sure we talked about that when we first started this series. It's like, obviously he's better, Samaj Christian is better than Rob. So that's kind of, you have to just base it in their time. Like, what did they do in their time? That's all
it's not worth it. Yeah. That's not worth comparing or anything. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. This has been awesome. We have, I think, Adam, we did this out of order. This was player number 11. So we've got almost halfway now. But very excited. This has been the Anatomy of a Superstar, Russell Westbrook.